Good morning again. Our chair, Dr. Farhan Benli, has a health problem, so for this session, I'm the chair. So we have papers here to present from different disciplines in business, and we will begin with Cenk Aksoy, and his study is on cybersecurity. Are you ready now?
Hi, hello, everyone.
If you are ready, you can start and you can prepare your presentation. Could you share it?
Okay, of course.
Welcome again once more. Yes, you can introduce yourself and start. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I hope my audio is coming clear. It's great to meet you from Canada. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Also, for to be the first presenter. I would like to express my gratitude to the organizers and hope this Congress will be beneficial for all participants. I want to start from my presentation today about cybersecurity with your permit. Today, we will discuss you about a critical issue because the case speaker also said about this issue, about the business risks. And we start, this is our priority because it's a big risk for businesses. And I will tell you about these risks and some solutions about these risks, how we can evaluate the risks, and how we find some solutions about this problem. So let's start. First of all, I want to introduce with the digital data amount. It is growing and by 2025, nearly half of the world's stored data will reside in cloud environments. So this is an issue. This is a vulnerable issue. So we have to protect our data from the risks. And the digital transformation also increasing, and we spend a lot of to the digital transformation technologies in structures. So with the rapid development of information and communication technologies, the security risks faced by enterprises are increasing. The frequency, severity, and sophistication of cyber attacks make businesses even more vulnerable, and the interest in cybersecurity is growing every day. You can see the figures. It's increasing by day by, and this is a matter for businesses. Why? Because it costs so much. The cost of cybercrime is predicted to hit 8 trillion in this year, and will grow to 10.5 trillion by 2025. Businesses exposed to cyber attacks can suffer not only extensive financial losses, but also data breaches operational disruptions, damage to reputation, regulatory fines and legal costs, loss of competitive advantage, and increased insurance premiums. So we start from the definition of cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is the act of defending technologies such as computers, servers, and mobile devices, as well as electronic systems, networks, and data from malicious attacks, also known as information technology security or electronic information security. But we have to make a difference between the information security and cybersecurity. Information security is about protecting any information, digital, physical, or intellectual. Cybersecurity, on the other hand, focuses on protecting information, just data in cyberspace, from cyber attacks such as ransomware or spyware. This includes electronic systems, cloud, networks, and data. So there is an overlap between these two concepts. Information security as compared to cybersecurity is to view the field as an umbrella term that includes all data, not just data stored within cyberspace. So we can say cybersecurity is a subset of information security. So when we look at the major cybersecurity breaches, cybersecurity threats are increasing daily with many large companies, and you can see in the figure that a lot of big companies like Yahoo, Twitter, Microsoft, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and also it's affecting also the companies in Turkey, and Turkey ranked sixth among the countries most exposed to cyber attacks worldwide by a research by IBM. So here is our debate. What's our solution, and how we can protect our valuable assets from these cyber criminals, hackers. So I want to start with discuss about a debate. This debate, especially executives, managers, and cybersecurity professionals heavily rely on technology to prevent this cyber attacks. And some managers are not considering human behavior and attitudes as the priority of an effective cybersecurity management. So we have to discuss about the question whether the critical success factors of cybersecurity are limited to technical factors, or if the human factor is also significant, remains a subject of debate. Before we continue this debate, we have to examine the types of cyber attacks so we can understand the reason spatially. So there are a lot of different types of attacks, but here you can see the four. Phishing attacks. In this type of attack, attackers try to capture users' personal information or identities by using tools such as fake websites or emails. Data breaches. In such attacks, attackers attempt to steal or disclose sensitive data by gaining unauthorized access to target systems. DDoS attacks. In such attacks, attackers try to crash or render systems unusable by sending excessive traffic. to target systems. And malware attacks. In such attacks, attackers try to control the system or steal data by infecting target system with malware. Malware is a software like viruses, like ransomware, like spyware. It's a malicious software. And the cause of the cybersecurity breaches, it's mainly becoming from human factor, and human error is the most common cause of cybersecurity breaches. Some reasons due to human error for these violations are weak or guessable passwords, out-of-date systems, insufficient training of personnel negligence, falling for phishing attacks, etc. And when we look the role of human being in businesses, human knowledge, beliefs, values, behaviors, and expectations are critical to all aspects of businesses. People make decisions about technologies. People review about business technologies, prioritize the risks. People are still responsible for security technologies, and people are determining these suspicious activities. People are deciding the interact with systems and information, and are every individual who is hired, interact, or sold to is a human being, our partners, our customers. Everything that is designed, sold, or developed by businesses ultimately serves people. So in this table, we don't see the technology factor here. Human factor still is effective in cybersecurity. And this human factor in cybersecurity, there is some research about this. Human error was a major contributing cause in 95% of all breaches, according to IBM research at 2014. And there is another research by Stanford University. 88% of data breaches are caused by human error. And at 2021, according to Verizon, 85% of all breaches involved a human element. So, at a conclusion, we can say the weakest link in cybersecurity is the human factor. But how we evaluate and how we invest our resources to this problem. According to a research by Carpenter and Rohr at 2022, they found that less than 3% of security expenditures, expenses in enterprises are allocated to the human factor, while 97% is spent on technology investments. Despite over 85% of breaches being attributable to human factors, and other studies are supporting this data. So we are not spending, we are not considering the human factor as a major effect. We are spending a lot to technological infrastructure, but we have to consider also this factor, because the most of the breaches being attributable to human factors. The fact that most security vulnerabilities are caused by human factors demonstrates that cybersecurity management is not solely a technological issue.
Very sorry, dear Cenk Aksoy.
Yes, I'm listening.
Time is very limited.
Okay. In 1 minute, I will gonna finish. Okay.
Thank you.
So we need a holistic approach. This holistic approach, we need to consider both factors, and especially in cybersecurity, cybersecurity awareness refers to knowledge and understanding of cybersecurity risks, threats, and we have to give some training programs to our employees to be more aware about cybersecurity, and just training employees about cyber safety is not enough, and we need to establish a culture. The name of this is a cybersecurity culture, a subculture of an organization's culture. So cybersecurity management goes beyond technical controls. It's also about the management of human factors. To ensure these, increasing cybersecurity awareness and fostering a cybersecurity culture are imperative. From top to bottom, cybersecurity is a shared responsibility in the company, not only the cybersecurity specialists, but from the board of directors to every corner of the organization. Everyone plays a critical role in maintaining security. My presentation is finished. Thank you for everyone for listening to me.
Thank you so much for your nice presentation. And really, as a finance professor, I must tell that all people need to increase the digital literacy. So this is a very important point for us. We are with the technological developments, we need to learn more on these areas. Thank you for your nice presentation. Do you is there any question? I can have one question. I think everything is so clear.
I hope.
I think so. Okay, thank you so much. So
no problem.
The next one is on tourism, and there Hümeyra Doğru Dastan is with us from 9 Eylül University.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, welcome. You can
you share my screen?
Not, please share it. You have 12 minutes for presentation. Thank you.
I hope you can see my presentation right now.
Yes. You can go on. Thank you.
So my name is Hümeyra Doğru Dastan. I am a research assistant at Business Faculty in 9 Eylül University, and my studies title is Antecedents and Consequences of Sustainability in Tourism Industry. So although the travel and tourism industry is frequently praised for its role in creating jobs, generating foreign currency and contributing to the economy, it's also harshly condemned for failing to adhere to sustainable practices. And due to the significant economic contribution that the tourism industry makes, like the majority of other sectors, it has incorporated environmental, social, and governance principles as indicators of sustainability. As a result of increasing interest in environmental corporate activities in today's competitive environment, sustainability performance concept has gained a great importance for both practitioners and also academicians. And businesses in tourism industry realized social, environmental, and economic dimensions simultaneously in order to achieve sustainable performance. And past studies concentrated on identifying the sustainable ecotourism indicators for different contexts and ecosystems. Some studies also investigated causal relationships between sustainable performance and diverse entities such as green process innovation. And although there is an abundant research on environmental performance in hospitality and tourism firms in recent decades, a systematic literature review is still pending. So, based on these arguments, the purpose of this study is to investigate the ends and consequences of sustainable performance in tourism industry. And the research questions are, what are the antecedents of environmental sustainability in tourism industry? What are the antecedents of economic sustainability and social sustainability? And in addition, what are the consequences of overall sustainability performance in tourism industry? So, regarding methodology of this study, first of all, an electronic search was conducted on the title, abstract, and keyword fields of the article. In this search, the keywords sustainable performance or environmental performance in combination with words were used. So articles published in the last 5 years and English language indexed in Scopus database were retrieved. And the search yielded 22 articles, but 7 articles were eliminated because they were out of scope, or they were either a bibliometrical study, or they were not directly related to the domain. And finally, 25 articles were subjected to content analysis. And in relation to antecedents of sustainable performance, at the end of content analysis, 3 major categories were retrieved. These are environmental sustainability, economic sustainability, and social sustainability. And I will explain the subcategories under these major categories. First of all, in relation to environmental sustainability, the first category was ecology-related entities. And these include maintenance and the integrity of the ecological system. And the second category was environmental, which covers preventing environmental pollution, noise pollution, or air pollution. And waste management is another significant antecedent which refers to solid waste reduction or decreasing waste generation. And the industry should also adopt low emissions economy, which refers to decreasing greenhouse gas emissions. So the firms might use shuttle buses, hybrid shuttle bus for low impact transportation. And climate change adaptation and improvement of the environment with active remediation are other antecedents. And the second subcategory was resource-related antecedents. Firstly, resource efficiency, covering the topics such as use of natural resources, protecting quality of environmental resources. And the other antecedent under this category is energy conservation, referring to the reducing energy consumption and management of energy flow. And the final subcategory is water management and security. And the other subcategory is product-related antecedents. And product responsibility, which refers to the offering environmental friendly products to the market, is one of the most significant one. So in addition to all core suppliers aware of their environmental responsibilities and working with environmental friendly suppliers, is an antecedent of environmental performance. And overall, making the whole process environmental friendly, environmentally sustainable, pertains to the green process innovation and adopting new and low impact technologies used in this process. And the final subcategory under environmental sustainability is management related antecedents. And these cover ensuring industry, academia cooperation, making responsible investment, having an integrated tourism and environment plan, having an inventory of tourism attractions, and building an infrastructure compliant with the zoning requirements, like destination requirements, actually. And the second major category is economic sustainability and discipline. And the first subcategory is consumer-related antecedents under this theme. There is visitor consumption covering average daily spending per tourist, average occupancy rate, further tourist satisfaction with related activities influences economic sustainability of tourism industry. And in relation to marketing-related antecedents, the tourism firms should ensure quality in tourism production and services, and they should have a continuous access to market, adopting sustainable promotion activities, analyzing market supply and demand, and also sectors' competitiveness affects economic sustainable performance of tourism firms. In relation to financial antecedents, cost for maintaining tourism operation, firm profitability and productivity in relations in operations are important. And in addition, commercial viability and financial return and income are important. And in relation to organizational antecedents, which is the last subcategory under this theme, firms should adopt participatory planning in local tourism industries and residents in destination planning, and they should ensure legal compliance. In addition, effective crisis management, ensuring information security and restatement of organizational values are also other antecedents of economic sustainability. And the third category under the antecedents is social sustainability. And first of all is employee-related antecedents are the first subcategory. First, a company's operations on employees, including like training and development of local tourism staff, is very important. And second, other employee rights and working conditions such as health and safety, preventing exploitation, employee wages, gender equality in HR activities, including like having a certain percentage of women employed in the company, and human rights and workforce responsibility are crucial. Further, empowerment of employees, employee satisfaction, and adopting a careful planning and staff selection processes are other antecedents. And the second major subcategory is community-related antecedents under the social sustainability, and training and development of local community in order to increase their ecological awareness and ensure enhancement of social identification for locals are also significant. The firms should also ensure resident and community involvement and accessibility to recreational facilities. Further, the level of creating employment opportunities for locals, making donations, and thus contributing to the local welfare, social welfare of the community are other determinants of social sustainability. Moreover, building relationships with local government and protection of local culture are other ends. The third subcategory is stakeholder-related antecedents, and in relation to this category, ensuring broad participation and effective communication of stakeholders and business relationships are important. And in relation to visitor-related antecedents, the firms are advised to encourage interaction with the local community and guests, providing cultural awareness, information sources for tourists at the destination, and disclosing ethical, social, and ecological information about their services to attain social sustainability. And in this study, I also reviewed the literature in order to have the in order to investigate what are the consequences of sustainability performance in tourism industry. First of all, when the firms ensure sustainable performance, they have a high financial performance, which is measured with diverse indicators such as liquidity, leverage, productivity, efficiency, and return on assets. Further, sustainable performance affects firms' operational performance and also their market performance, which is measured with better sales value and market share. Moreover, when the firms achieve sustainable performance, they would have higher perceived credibility in the market. And also, there occurs a positive effect on organizational culture for involving their vision and also strategies. In conclusion, tourism and destinations should concentrate on technology-related antecedents for environmental sustainability, financial and marketing-related antecedents for economic sustainability, and employee-related and community-related antecedents for social sustainability. And also in the study, the results show that the activities to maintain sustainable performance have a positive influence, have a positive effect on financial, operational, and market performance. And thank you for your listening, and I would be happy to have your feedbacks and questions. Thank you very much.
And thank you so much, dear Hümeyra. This is a very now also popular research area for all of us, sustainability. And we also have some studies on sustainability with my students and me. Is there any question or contribution? You can also make contribution to our presenters. Or the others don't ask, so they will face up with some maybe hard questions later. Because of that, they don't ask. I'm not sure about. Okay, thank you so much, Hümeyra. And so we are again going with sustainability goals. There are two authors, Sena Dönmez and Aslı Tuncay Çelikel from Işık University. And dear professor, will you present, or I think Sena, or your, I think
Sena will be presenting.
Okay.
So, hello, Ayben hocam. Nice to meet you.
Nice to
great
meet
to be in
you,
this Kongre. So
it's...
Sena has the control now. Actually, I appreciate the first opening session. It was a very nice, contributive talk. And now good topics are being discussed in this panel as well.
Thank you so much for your contribution there, Professor. We can, hello, there, Sena, can see your screen, I think.
Okay. I am Sena. Today I would like to talk about the title of Gender Equality and Empowerment for Companies, an exploratory case from Turkey to achieve United Nations Sustainability Goal, which
Sena?
I prepared together
Sena?
with...
Sorry to disturb you, but I can't see the PowerPoint.
Yes, we only see the screen of your own computer page. I think.
Okay, sorry. I was.
If you select your old screen, it doesn't matter if you open another thing, or if you are opening the PowerPoint and you.
I think you can see now.
now we see it, yeah.
Okay. Welcome again. And this is our title, and I prepared together with Associate Professor Aslı Tuncay Çeliker from Işık University. Women around the world face significant social, economic, and legal barriers to equality. And according to United Nations, each Sustainable Development Goal contains specific targets. And Goal 5 is mentioned with the aim of achieving gender equality and empowering all women and girls. There are actually 9 targets. Those are ending discrimination, ending violence, ending harmful practices, recognizing and valuing unpaid work, ensuring full participation in public life, ensuring access to sexual and reproductive health and rights, and so on. The business world is currently placing great emphasis on sustainability. This exploratory case study aims to comprehend the current situation of gender equality, women empowerment in business, so we are concerning on this, and proposing a roadmap with thematic areas for companies via achievement of Goal 5. Let's move on right now for literature review that we prepared. And empowering women should be a key access area for companies and business schools to promote sustainable growth. So we need urgent action for reach this goal and for achieving gender equality by ending all forms of violence is really crucial for private and public spheres as well. It also calls for women's equal opportunities and full participation for leadership at all levels of economic and political decision making. So young leaders stress the instant need to put the leadership of young women and girls at the center of agenda. Women's attendance in decision making is really crucial in this planet. And for example, bringing inclusive business can enable gender equality, and full employment of women is essential for leadership, and encouraging the diverse leadership styles and behaviors are also really significant. So let's move on right now. What kind of facts about Turkey as a developing country? With the influence of women's movements and institutions, efforts have been made for gender equality, but there are still human rights violations, and Turkey is the 133rd country among 156 countries, and women felt insecure in Turkey more than men, and labor force participation rate is not that a lot like men, and for example, female health index is higher than male health index. Life expectancy is high for women in Turkey. On the other hand, gender equalities in health have been observed in favor of men. When the income and education components are also examined, and it is seen that it is in favor of men. So let's move on right now for methodology parts. Perspectives of professionals in Turkey we were held, and preliminary interviews were made with 2 managers in Istanbul, and manufacturing and logistics industries were made, and 5 experts in the field of sustainability and working on SDG 5 were interviewed, and 10 open-ended questions were posed to representatives from 5 companies during face-to-face interviews. So I would like to mention about our findings, and the literature review, first of all, on Sustainable Development Goal 5 revealed various themes related. Gender equality and empowerment, including gender neutral decision making, ensuring well-being of the individual, creating safe places, it's really crucial, and role of value chain for gender equality and environmental impact. Based on research findings, a roadmap with 10 thematic areas was developed. So I can first of all start with the first one. An inquiry was made about what kind of methods could be developed in the workplace in order to empower women. Almost all of the respondents mentioned that stereotypes hinder the advancement of women. As far as it is observed that respondents thought that removing stereotypes would be effective for gender-neutral career choice. For instance, one of the respondents mentioned about informing male drivers that women can be chauffeurs in their company, and they also have 7 truck drivers as women to empower women. So corporate social responsibility includes a range of ways in which companies probe their environmental and social impacts. In addition, in the questioning conducted to eliminate gender inequality by ensuring social sustainability, respondents stated that they thought training on gender equality from an early age would be effective in breaking prejudices and that they implemented practices for this purpose. Measures are also needed to both prevent and eliminate structural and systematic discrimination against women along career paths in research. Furthermore, inquiries were made about what kind of recruitment policies are appropriate. Respondents thought that gender equality recruitment practices were effective. The respondent, for example, who works at a leading company in the energy sector, added CV without a photo of the applicant can be a solution. Gender equality and diversity inclusion, disabled people are also involved. For instance, people with hearing problems in our company, they are learning sign language. Our orientations are done in sign language. So our roadmap is implementing gender-neutral recruitment practices. So corporate cultures, traditional gender roles, and lack of support for balancing care responsibilities in work are some of the reasons why women are underrepresented in decision-making processes also. So a respondent talked about the appointments at the point of decision-making and conveyed his thoughts as follows. This is really crucial. It is possible for everyone involved to decide on the appointment, the salary of one person, and the rotation in all of the decision-making bodies. So our roadmap is adopting gender-neutral policies in all decision-making process. And gender analysis predominantly the weakest point in most value chain analysis. So gender analysis mostly ignored in most value chain manuals. An inquiry was made about what kind of steps can be taken to procure gender equality in the value chain, and respondents mostly thought that providing more comfortable spaces in the value chain, rewards, leaves, and fringe benefits could positively affect women's employment. So, support for solutions and strategies to bridge the gender gap should come not only from activists, civil society, and gender equality community, but also from female leaders from private sectors. And an inquiry was made about what the global challenge could be while achieving gender equality. They stated that the problems faced by companies globally could be access to health, medicine, and education. As a solution to this, they thought that beneficial results could be obtained by providing trainings to eliminate prejudices. So, in terms of sustainability, this means engaging in eco-friendly and ethical implementation as a part of individual lifestyle and being at the foreground of the company's sustainability program. Most of the companies stated that ensuring work-life balance during working hours is their corporate culture. So respondents emphasized the significance of maintaining work-life balance during working hours. Despite the increasing integration of SDGs into their business strategies, few organizations accurately measure the SDGs contributions and few communicate about it. Furthermore, an inquiry was made on how the SDG 5 target could be developed in leadership, and respondents generally emphasized the significance of enabling equal rights at all levels along with trainings. Manufacturing company commented as follows: benefits will affect society. So, proactive, harmonious, and conscious efforts of all stakeholders are needed in order to achieve gender equality in workplace and to achieve the associated economic and social benefits. Moreover, inquiries were made about how the problems that emerged during the implementation process could be solved, and respondents mostly thought that it would be beneficial to give significance to ethics and raise awareness about sustainability awareness to the society. A respondent, for example, working at logistics company, expressed their practice as follows: according to feedback from our female truck drivers, we are working on how to improve this, and we have great importance to research and development. As a result, respondents emphasized the significance of giving importance to ethics and raising awareness of society. So let me move on right now for conclusion. The contribution of this paper is to develop an understanding of how companies should advance their policy implementations to advance the fifth goal in leadership by ensuring gender equality. Social, economic, and environmental factors play a very distinctive role in the development of SDG 5 target in leadership. Companies in Turkey are encouraged to prioritize gender equality, women empowerment programs as their policies will contribute to broader efforts within the country. By actively working towards these goals, business can foster a more inclusive and sustainable future for all. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Sena, and I'm very sorry about that video you have just when you were presenting. I think there are some problems that and now I told my team not to approve anyone whose name isn't written on our conference list. Sorry again. Okay, thank you for your presentation. Is that a question to Sena? So I also want all attendees to write their full name and surname if they don't have on their Zoom accounts. We really need this to don't have any other problem during our conference. And our next presenter is again Cenk Aksoy. So
yes. Can I continue Turkish because my presentation is Turkish?
Okay, of course you can. Devam edebilirsiniz hocam.
Tekrar merhaba. Sabrınız için teşekkür ederim. Tekrar beni dinlediğiniz için. Sunumumu açıyorum. Evet. Evet, yine başka bir dijital teknoloji konusuyla devam edeceğiz. Yeni nesil işbirliği ve büyük veri ortamı, dijital ekosistemlerin değer yaratma ve rekabet avantajlarının incelenmesi. Genel anlamda dijital ekosistemlerden bahsedelim. Dijital ekosistemler, teknoloji işletmeler, kullanıcılar ve diğer paydaşların dijital altyapı ve platformlar üzerinden etkileşime girerek değer yaratma süreçlerini gerçekleştirdikleri ve işbirliği yaptıkları karmaşık ve dinamik yapılar olarak tanımlanabilir. Dijital ekosistemler, dijital platformlar, büyük veri, big data, yapay zeka, nesnelerin interneti ve blockchain gibi teknolojiler yer almaktadır. Bu teknolojiler işletmelerin ve endüstrilerin dijital dönüşüm süreçlerini gerçekleştirerek iş süreçlerini optimize etmelerine, müşteri deneyimini iyileştirmelerine ve işbirliği ve inovasyon süreçlerini hızlandırmalarına yardımcı olur. Dijital ekosistemler günümüz iş dünyasında işletmelerin ve endüstrilerin verimliliklerini arttırarak rekabet avantajı elde etmelerine ve sürdürülebilir büyüme sağlamalarına olanak tanıyan karmaşık ve dinamik yapılar olarak önemli rol oynamaktadır. Bunlar işbirliğini teşvik eder, işletmelere geniş kitlelere erişim sağlar, veri paylaşımını kolaylaştırır, inovasyonu destekler, müşteri deneyimini ve rekabet avantajını arttırır. Dijital ekosistemlerin geleneksel ekosistemlerden farkı, dijital ekosistemler işletmelerin ve diğer paydaşların dijital teknolojiler ve platformlar aracılığıyla değer yaratma süreçlerini gerçekleştirdikleri ve işbirliği yaptıkları yapılar iken geleneksel işbirliği ekosistemler, işbirlikçi ekosistemler fiziksel altyapılara ve daha sınırlı iletişim ve etkileşim kanallarına dayalıdır. Dijital ekosistemlerde işletmeler ve paydaşlar gerçek zamanlı veri ve bilgi paylaşımı, sürekli iletişim ve işbirliği, daha esnek ve ölçeklenebilir yapılar ve daha hızlı inovasyon ve değer yaratma süreçleri sağlamaktadır. Geleneksel işbirlikçi ekosistemlerde ise işbirliği süreçleri daha yavaş ve kısıtlı olup fiziksel sınırlamalar ve coğrafi mesafeler nedeniyle daha az verimli ve esnek yapılar söz konusudur. Dijital ekosistem türleri, bunlara sadece örnek vererek hızlı değineceğim süre kısıtından dolayı. İşletme odaklı dijital ekosistemler, bunlar Amazon'un e-ticaret ekosistemi gibi çeşitli satıcılar, tedarikçiler ve müşterileri bir araya getiren ekosistemlerdir. Platform odaklı dijital ekosistemler daha çok belirli bir platformun kullanıcıları, geliştiricileri ve diğer katılımcıları arasındaki etkileşimi sağlayan, mesela Apple'ın App Store'u gibi geliştiricilerin uygulamalarını müşterilere sunmasına ve satmasına olanak sağlayan ekosistemlerdir. Sektör odaklı dijital ekosistemler daha çok belirli bir sektördeki bir dizi şirket arasındaki etkileşimi ifade eder. Mesela otomotiv endüstrisinde Tesla'nın elektrikli araç ekosistemi tedarikçileri, üreticileri, hizmet sağlayıcıları ve müşterileri içerir. Açık inovasyon dijital sistemleri yine Google'ın Android ekosistemini örnek olarak verebiliriz. Bunlar tüm dünyadan geliştiricilerin katkıda bulunabileceği açık kaynaklı platformlardır. Coğrafi odaklı ekosistemlere Amerika'daki Silikon Vadisi'ne örnek verebiliriz. Bunlar yatırımcıları, üniversiteden ya da hükümet startupları bir arada bulunduran yapılardır. Topluluk odaklı dijital ekosistemler için Reddit örneğini verebiliriz. Kullanıcıların belirli konular etrafında topluluklar oluşturduğu topluluk odaklı dijital ekosistem örneğidir. Yapay zeka ve makine öğrenimi, dijital ekosistemleri, bunlar da çeşitli platformlar, yine Google'ın çeşitli platformlarında makine öğrenmesi, algoritmalarını oluşturma ve eğitime konusunda geliştiricilere yardımcı olur. İnternet ve nesnelerin interneti ekosistemlerinde ise mesela Google'ın akıllı ev sistemlerini örnek verebiliriz. İşte Nest gibi örneğin termostatlar, güvenlik kameraları bu ekosistemi oluşturur. Blockchain, kripto ekosistemlerinde ise malumunuz Ethereum gibi geliştiricilerin merkezi olmayan uygulamalar oluşturabileceği bir platform sunarak bir ekosistem oluşturur. Başarılı bir ekosistemde 3 temel unsur bulunmaktadır. Platform, ağ etkileri, pazar beklentisi. Platform genellikle belirli bir çeşit yazılım ve hizmeti desteklemek için tasarlanmış bir teknoloji veya hizmet altyapısını ifade eder. İşletmelerin, geliştiricilerin, kullanıcıların ve diğer paydaşların etkileşime geçebileceği ve değer yaratabileceği ortamlardır. Buna örnek olarak Amazon Web Services verilebilir. AWS, veri depolama, bilgisayar işlem gücü, yapay zeka hizmetleri gibi birçok hizmetler vererek işletmelerin ve bireysel kullanıcıların bu hizmetleri kullanarak kendi uygulamalarını geliştirmesine olanak sağlar. Dijital ekosistemlerde ağ etkileri bir ürün veya hizmetin değerinin kullanıcı sayısına bağlı olarak arttığı durumlarda ortaya çıkar. Daha fazla kullanıcı ve paydaşın platforma katılması ekosistemi daha değerli ve cazip hale getirir. Buna örnek olarak Apple'ın App Store'unu örnek görebiliriz. Tüketiciler bu uygulamayı ne kadar çok kişi kullanırsa daha fazla geliştirici orada uygulamalarını yayınlamak isteyecektir. Ve bu da daha cazip hale gelmesine olanak verecektir. Dijital ekosistemlerde pazar beklentisi. Pazar beklentisi dijital ekosistemlerde bir ürün veya hizmetin belirli bir pazarda ne kadar talep göreceği, büyüme potansiyeli, rekabet durumu ve diğer faktörlerle ilgili beklentileri ifade eder. Örnek Uber'in sürücüsüz araç örneği. Uber'in pazar beklentisi otonom yani sürücüsüz araçların araç teknolojisinin gelecekte ana akım olacağı ve bu teknolojinin taşımacılık maliyetlerini yani en büyük maliyet kalemi olan sürücünün ücretlerinden kurtulmayı önemli ölçüde sağlayacağı için böyle bir beklenti içerisindedir ve yatırımlarını da bu doğrultuda yapmaktadır. Dijital ekosistemler tüm bu üç faktörü yerine getirebilmek için büyük veriyi kullanmak zorundadır. Büyük veri dijital ekosistemlerin temel bileşenlerinden biridir. Büyük veri analitiği sayesinde gelişmiş veri madenciliği ve makine öğrenimi teknikleri ekosistemlerin etkinliğini ve değerini arttırma potansiyeline sahiptir. Bu yöntemle değerli bilgileri elde eden dijital ekosistemlerdeki işletmeler pazar trendlerini, tüketici davranışlarını ve rekabetçi dinamikleri daha iyi anlayarak stratejik avantaj elde edebilirler. Buna da yine örnek olarak Uber'i vereceğiz. Her gün milyonlarca yolculuk hakkında veri toplayan bu firma, bu verileri, sürüş süreleri, yolculuk talepleri, trafik koşulları ve daha fazlasını içeriyor. Uber bu verileri kullanarak talebi daha iyi tahmin ediyor ve fiyatlandırmayı da optimize ediyor ve hizmetlerini iyileştiriyor. Dijital ekosistemlerin iki kritik avantajına değinelim. Bunlardan değer yaratma ve rekabet. Dijital ekosistemlerde değer yaratma, iş süreçlerini optimize etme, müşteri deneyimini iyileştirme ve yenilikçi ürün ve hizmetler sunma yoluyla gerçekleşir. Rekabet ise işletmeler dijital ekosistemlerdeki veri, analitik ve teknolojik kaynakları kullanarak pazar trendlerini, tüketici davranışlarını ve rekabetçi dinamikleri daha iyi anlayabilir. Böylece stratejik avantaj elde edebilir. Yine bunları örneklendirerek anlatalım. Amazon başlangıçta sadece bir çevrim içi kitap satıcısı olarak kurulmuş olsa da zaman içinde e-ticaret, bulut bileşim, yapay zeka ve diğer teknolojilerle entegre bir dijital ekosistem haline gelmiştir. Amazon'un dijital ekosistemine katılan işletmeler ve tüketiciler alışveriş, lojistik, veri analitiği ve diğer hizmetlere erişim sağlayarak değer yaratma ve rekabet avantajı elde etmektedir. Amazon'un dijital ekosistemini bir şekilde görmekteyiz. Hemen hemen hayatın her alanına erişmiş bir sistem. Yine Apple'dan devam edelim. Apple akıllı telefonlar, tabletler, dizüstü bilgisayarlar ve akıllı saatler gibi farklı ürünlerle entegre edilmiş güçlü bir dijital ekosistem sunmaktadır. Apple'ın ekosistemi iOS ya da macOS gibi işletim sistemleri, App Store, iCloud ve Apple Pay gibi hizmetler ve üçüncü taraf geliştiricilerin katılımıyla genişlemiştir. Bu entegrasyon kullanıcı deneyimini iyileştirerek ürünlerin ve hizmetlerin değerini arttırır ve Apple'a sürdürülebilir bir rekabet avantajı sağlar. Yine şekilde Apple'ın ekosistemi görülmekte. Sonuç olarak dijital ekosistemler işletmelerin ve endüstrilerin verimliliklerini arttırarak rekabet avantajı elde etmelerine ve sürdürülebilir büyüme sağlamalarına olanak sağlamaktadır. Özellikle büyük veri analitiği dijital ekosistemlerin performansını ve karar verme süreçlerini optimize etmek için kullanılabilir. Amazon, Apple ve Uber gibi örnekler dijital ekosistemlerin değer yaratma ve rekabetçi avantaj sağlama potansiyelini göstermektedir. Bu nedenle işletmelerin dijital dönüşüm ve inovasyonu benimseyerek dijital ekosistemlerin sunduğu avantajlardan yararlanmaları önem taşımaktadır. Evet, sunuma burada sona ermiştir. Dinlediğiniz için teşekkür ederim.
Teşekkür ederim hocam. Dijitalleşme ve sürdürülebilirlik yani en temel iki gündemdeki konumuz. Bakalım Türkçe bildiride belki soru gelir. Olan var mı acaba? Biraz daha. Genelde de hani katılımcılar da yine diğer bildirileri sunacak olanlar.
Hocam el kaldırmayı göremedim burada. Nereden el kaldırıyoruz? Kaldırmış varsayın.
Sorunuzu sorabilirsiniz. Buyurun Sabri hocam.
Cenk hocam teşekkür ediyorum. Aslında bir önceki Sena Hanım'ın sunumuyla da paralel sormak istiyorum. Acaba bu tarz dönüşümler, dijital dönüşümler kadınların iş dünyasındaki etkileşimini ya da kadınların iş dünyasındaki güçlendirmesini, empowerment diye ifade ettiğimiz güçlendirmesini kolaylaştıracak mı yoksa daha mı zor kılacak? Ne dersiniz?
Ben tabii aslında bu soruyu Sena Hanım'a da yöneltebiliriz. Onun da görüşlerini alabiliriz ama bence evet kadınların da katılımını artıracağını düşünüyorum. Çünkü dijital teknolojiler kadınları ve erkekleri sınıflandırmaktan ziyade birleştiren, daha universal yapan, küresel yapan bir sistem sunuyor. Dolayısıyla kadınlar erkekler kadar aktif olacaktır. Çünkü fiziksel şartları kaldırıyor. Herkesin eşit bir şekilde erişimini sağlıyor. Dolayısıyla evet bunun mutlaka katkısı olacaktır diye düşünüyorum.
Mesela AR/VR teknolojilerinde tekrar girdim söze ama kusura bakmayın. AR/VR teknolojilerinde elde ettiğim bilgiye istinaden yine bir erkek hegemonyası mevcut. Yani hem programlama tarafında hem de kullanıcılar düzeyinde yine erkek ağırlığı söz konusu. Acaba diğerlerinde de aynı böyle bir gidişat olur mu ya da elinizde bir veri var mı diye sormuştum. Teşekkür ederim.
Evet, anlıyorum. Teşekkürler. Evet.
Teşekkürler.
Aslı hocam ya da Sena hocam ekleme yapmak isterlerse.
Evet, aslında AI teknolojilerinde sorry, I'm continuing in English.
Sure.
For example, in AI technologies, there are lots of bias, women and men, because those AI technologies made by human. That's why I think.
Yeah, but anyhow, men are made it, I think. It's not my opinion. It's a kind of statistics, of course.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Olacak.
Teşekkürler hocam.
Ben teşekkür ederim. Okay, thank you. And now we have a presenter from University of Jordan. Dear Hassan Omet is with us with his study on financial development in Jordan. So, welcome. Okay, we see your presentation there, Professor.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, and you?
That's very good. I would like to start by thanking all those who are behind the Global Business Research Congress, at the forefront of whom is my dear friend, Professor Suat.
Thank you so much.
The paper is really, as the title states, does public debt impede financial development in Jordan? Some macro and micro analysis. The purpose in brief terms, what is the impact of public debt on aggregate credit to the private sector at the macro level? And the second one is what's the impact of public debt on bank level, individual bank level credit to the private sector? Why the paper is interesting, in my opinion, because of the simple graph. In 2022, interest payments to public debt, to public spending, on some of the main items of public spending is extremely high. Yani interest payments on the Jordanian government's debt is 149% of what the government has spent on health. It's as well higher than on education, 116%, and even on the defense budget. So with something like 116% of GDP public debt, this is what happens. Obviously, the implications are far-reaching and negative. So the literature review, in very simple terms, financial development, credit to the private sector has always been a controversial issue. Yani even Nobel Prize winners could not agree. Schumpeter said financial development impacts economic growth. Professor Robinson, on the other hand, argued that financial development, economic growth that affects financial development and not the other way around. And another Nobel Prize winner, Lucas, stated that the relationship is exaggerated, irrespective of what the relationship between financial development, bank credit, and growth. One can argue that banks provide economies with several services, including pooling of savings, allocation of capital resources, and others. Given the importance of banks, the finance literature contains numerous papers which examine their performance in terms of many issues, including public debt and bank lending. The nexus between public debt and credit to the private sector involves two basic arguments. The first one is really banks' access to safe government securities, bonds, treasury bills might discourage them from lending to the private sector. It's really the lazy bank model. The other argument is that banks' access to safe government securities might change their risk attitude to risk and hence their desire to lend more to the private sector. In other words, this argument is based on what is called the risk diversification model. However, these arguments imply that the impact of public borrowing is an empirical issue. Yani, in some countries, the impact might be positive, and in some other countries, circumstances, the impact might be negative. Some of the more recent papers that have dealt with this is by Kabir in 2020, and another one. It's time series cross-sectional, really, because the first paper, 2020 by Kabir, covers 73 developing countries and high-income countries during the period 1995 to 2014. The second paper is really time series analysis. The analysis covers 80 to 29 and employs an ARDL model to show the impact of public debt on credit. And the third group of papers, they use bank level analysis. The most recent one, the one by Liu et al., 2023, is really interesting in terms of they examined the impact of public debt on individual companies' capital structure and not on bank lending. Total debt to total liability to total assets. But anyway, I was very glad to see it, and I think it is well worth reading for those who are interested in this subject. I'm fine. The data methodology of my paper, I covered the period 1982 to 2021, long enough to really examine the underlying trend. The variables, obviously, I examined them in terms of their stationarity, and determined the optimal lag structure, and then tested for co-integrating relationship. Based on the co-integration, which they are, we estimate a vector error correction model to examine a long-run and short-run relationship. Finally, of course, we have to test the model if it has serial correlation in its residuals and the stability, structural stability in the residuals. For the bank level data, I used all 13 Jordanian conventional banks during the period 2011-2021. Delta credit is the percentage change, annual change in bank credit as a function of the change in deposits, bonds, equity size, and commission. Bonds is really what is interesting. It's the bank investment in government securities as a ratio to their total assets. And I ran the model in its lag structure, 1 year, more or less the same results that I occurred. Yani the endogeneity problem is not really a problem. The results, at least for the time series analysis, as expected, both variables were stationary in their first level difference. The optimal lag length is found 1 year. There is co-integration, and there is a long-run stable relationship based on the fact that the error correction term is significant and negative, equal to minus 0.187, and the long-run elasticity is minus 14, 0.14. Yani at the macro level, public debt does reduce bank credit to the private sector, and there aren't serial correlation problem, or the model is not stable structurally. It is. As far as the bank credit, the individual, it's amazing that 20%, 20.9% of their total assets are invested in government securities. The median is 20. There is one bank in one given year, 36.6% of its assets are in the form of government securities. That is exceptionally high. And there is good variability because the minimum is 1.6%. The commission income is interesting. Yani again, we have a bank, 39% of its revenues, the source of which are commissions and not interest. Yani in a way, we have a dichotomy here in the Jordanian banking sector. There are some significant differences. The determinants of credit, individual banks, obviously the most interesting one is the holdings of bonds. The coefficient is negative, minus 0.114, and statistically significant. And here I use the seemingly unrelated regression because of the autocorrelation in the residuals over time. And that's really basically the main result. Of course, the deposit insurance is deposit growth, is expected to impact credit positively and relatively high, 0.66. It makes sense, but that's the one in red, which is the problem. To sum up, the implication of this paper is really clear. The government should improve its public finance and reduce its public debt. Now I can probably write a book about what to do about the status of public finance in Jordan in terms of its revenues and in terms of its spending items. That's obviously a different matter, but mainly the government should take the status of its public finance a lot more seriously. And thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Professor. I only want to know, do you have another study like this, maybe not only Jordan or with a few other countries, or is this the first one that you had done on this subject?
No, I did previously, but the time period was different, and this one I tried to cover both macro level analysis and micro level analysis.
Yes, thank you so much.
So the results are,
yeah.
Did
the results change? I think you want to tell about that.
No, not really, and that's very consistent. No.
So the results are really against like same. They didn't change much.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Sometimes when we study on different countries or only the same for the same country with the same methodology for different periods, sometimes we have different results, but generally is on the stock markets or for the other financial markets we see that, but with the macro data or the firm level data, the results generally don't change too much. So the it's in finance, the capital market, when we look to prices or when we look to the increase and decrease periods in financial markets, sometimes it changes in bull periods and in bear periods we have different results. But if you go with the firm data or macro data, generally the literature and the studies results more related with each other. I see that. Thank you. Is there any question to Professor?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, dear Professor.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We are going on time. I think everyone tries to go. Okay. Is Mariam Kokil here? I couldn't see her name. And I know that Professor Farhan has got an health problem. I think that's the reason Mariam is not here too. So I think we can pass and go with the next presentation. Fatih Pınarbaşı.
Merhabalar, sesim geliyor mu?
Geliyor hocam, nasılsınız?
Gayet iyiyim. Çok pardon, bir kamera testi yapıyorum. Sorry for the Turkish. Hello everyone.
İngilizce mi Türkçe mi devam edecek hocam?
İngilizce hocam.
Okay.
May I share my screen?
Yes, you're allowed to.
Just
Thank you.
I guess it is on the screen right now. Could you please confirm that you see my screen?
Of course, we see.
Okay. So I guess I have 15 minutes, so I need to catch so fast. So It's Fatih Pınarbaşı from İstanbul Medipol University, as you see in my background. And today I'm talking about the zero waste topic, which is a reflection of sustainability issues in the world. And today I'm going to talk about the consumer side because my expertise on the consumer behavior and the marketing side. So for my study, I tried to focus on the consumer side and evaluate the zero waste applications from the consumer side. For the data type, I use Reddit social media platform, which is a social media platform that users can share, can post about their habits, their actions, etc. So it is an interesting study. I guess my presentation is consisting of the four main parts. First, I need to tell you about the summary, what I do in general. After that, maybe I can skip fast with the theory section, the literature review section, and after that, I will talk about the empirical side of my study, which is the thematic analysis and the qualitative side of the study. After that, I will mention about some conclusion and some future research studies because it is an exploratory study. That means it can guide me or any possible researchers to new context, new methods, new data methodologies, maybe because it has a rich potential with the context side. So, summary. In today's world, the way communities are produced, consumed, and used by consumers, and the processes of turning these commodities into waste are essential issues for our environment and planet. Maybe you remember from the history of the marketing, today we are not talking about only buying, only consuming the product. Today we are talking about the disposal of the products, how we are recycling them, etc. So the concept known as zero waste, maybe you already heard about it, but if you don't know about the concept, the concept aims to reduce waste and maximize the use of resources with a conscious consumption approach. I mean, you use some product and you can dispose of it. Maybe you put it into the trash, but in zero waste approach, we are not doing this. We are trying to maximize the use of this specific object. Maybe you reuse again with different usage. For example, you want to get rid of your old t-shirt, but in zero waste approach, we don't say this. We are using it, for example, cleaning the environment for the other purposes. That is the reflection. That is the reflection of zero waste. And understanding the behavior patterns of consumers acting with the awareness of protecting the environment, evaluating their practices, and examining their opinions will be beneficial for marketing research. Why? Because in the end of the day, our research questions will be based on this simple exploratory research idea. So what is our research aim? This paper aims to explore an online community who talks about zero waste concept and evaluate the themes in the content. Employing the relevant methodology, which in this case, thematic analysis methodology for an online discussion board can contribute to the understanding of topic by user's perspective or maybe in a larger scale, in a larger scope as society perspective. So what are my research questions? The first research question is, what are the main post types included in the conversation? I mean, what they are talking about in general. And the second research question is, what are the main emerging themes included in the discussion? So it is different from the post type. In the emerging themes, we are in methodology, we are focusing on underlying content, underlying topics or discussions in the conversation. And what is my research context? Online user platform of Reddit and specific channel of zero waste channel is employed as the sample for this study. So social media and digital media channel and the posts of the users are the context of this study. Of course, I have some limitation because it is an exploratory research and qualitative research. That means I cannot generalize, I cannot link about the causal relationships, but it is relevant to my research target, my research aims. This study focuses on a specific community subreddit, and these users, I mean, the users who are already participated in this channel are already interested in the topic. So it means that we are not collecting the data from non-relevant users. So there is a limitation in here. The second one, this study does not contain causal relationships, evaluation of them, because it has an exploratory research nature, okay? And the third one, this study does not include cultural and country-specific focus. In consumer behavior context, cultural-based differences or the country-specific differences would be an effective factor for consumer research, but in the online platform, this is not classified as an information. So this study is not focusing on that. So for the literature side, we have some main ideas, we have some main concepts that we can base our study on. The first one is the sustainable consumption. It can be evaluated as the reflection of societal marketing concept. It is included as a one period in the marketing history. I mean production, products, and sales and marketing, and societal marketing is a period of the marketing history which is included in the Kotler's study. So which is a recent period of marketing perspective in the world, production, product, selling, marketing, and in the end of the day, we are living in societal marketing according to Kotler. And if we want to rely on the definition, Jackson includes some definitions of sustainable consumption from the literature in his study. For example, according to IIED, the special focus of sustainable consumption is on the economic activity of choosing, using, and disposing of goods and services, and how this can be changed to bring social and environmental benefits. And as you see, there are different types of focuses in the definition, but the main idea is sustainability and try to maximize the use of the product or service. Because in the end of the day, we need to think about our planet, we need to think about our environment. And research aim in theoretical perspective, social media channels are essential for today's consumers in expressing themselves and being in social communication. On the other hand, the actions of consumers in these channels can be used by researchers to understand consumer issues better because they are the actual reflections of people's lives on social media. From this point of view, it will be helpful for consumer behavior research to examine the social media channels where consumers with similar characteristics come together and exchange the ideas. Think about, we are trying to gather the data from, for example, 500 different consumers, but their level of awareness about the zero waste concept is not higher level. So in this case, we are not talking to the correct, we are not talking to the right people about our study, but in these social media channels, there are some channels, there are some subreddits which are including the similar characteristics of the people. And a social media platform, Reddit, is selected for this study, and the subreddit, it means a sub-channel in the social media platform. Think about Facebook group or Twitter channels. Zero waste channel is used for this study. As I already mentioned about it, the research has an exploratory aim to understand the zero waste community on Reddit social media channel. So for the data collection, I have used the R programming language by using the RStudio software, and I use a specific code package. It is called as Reddit extractor, are employed to obtain the data from subreddit of the zero waste. In addition, I use write Excel code package for some data processing actions. And I want to mention about some exploratory data about this channel. According to the 30 April of the 2023, 1 million subscriber and 104 comments per day for this channel activity. It means that people are actively using this channel. Of course, there could be some up and down, there could be some volatility in this case, but the main idea, this community is active in this case. So, study for the sample, how I choose the study for this sample. The study sample obtained for the study consists of 994 different posts in the community. So maybe you are a user of the Reddit. In the Reddit, there are some filters about the data. I use the top post. It means the popular posts in the channel. Why I use the popular post? Because I need to mention about what people are interested in the most for this post. And for the period, I use all filter. If you are a user of the Reddit, there are some different periods. For example, for the month, for the week, for the 1 day. Okay? So I use top post for all the period for this channel. So I try to maximize my scope for understanding the general idea for this channel. So this is the data analysis. For the thematic analysis, I rely on the framework of the Brown and Clark, the classic study of the Brown and Clark, which consists of the 6 main stages. According to Brown and Clark, a general thematic analysis must consist of or must follow these 6 ideas, 6 phrases. Of course, there could be some criticism about, there could be some updates about the stages, but I rely on the main idea. First one, familiarizing yourself with your data. I mean, look and evaluate the data. Try to associate with the specific themes or the categories. Because in thematic analysis, when you examine the data much and more, you can emerge, you can create, you can generate new themes. And the second one is generating initial codes. I try to build new codes, maybe merge some of the existing codes. So the third one is searching for the themes. In the end of the day, the themes are merged into some main themes. Fourth one is reviewing themes, because in the thematic analysis, some of the themes can overlap to each other. You need to be sure about it. It doesn't overlap so much. And the fifth one, defining and naming the themes. And the final one is producing the report. So I use an Excel sheet because I did not purchase the NVivo yet when I doing this study. I use an Excel sheet for this thematic analysis. As you see, I collected the links of the post. I collected the titles of the post, and I tried to first classify the type of the post. I will talk about the themes, but I try to tell you the main idea of my study. And the second one, I collect and classify the content category of the post. So since this Excel file is included in the Google Sheets, I update it, I collect it, and I revise it so much. And in the final, there are 4 post type themes in this discussion of the Reddit subchannel. First one is information. Any informative content which includes information, maybe some news, maybe some statistics or the facts are included in this category. These are more the objective side of the information. It is not including any personal experience yet. Second one is instruction. Telling of instructions or details about related applications. For example, do-it-yourself projects. I do this disposal of the product, and I didn't dispose of this product. I recycle it. You will see in the next slide, there are some types of these experiences in the Reddit channel. Third one is personal experience. In this channel, not only the personal, but also the family experiences are discussed with others. For example, my mother do this experience for the zero waste application. My sister is doing this, etc., etc. And the fourth one is discussion with community, the content encouraging others to join the discussion or some asking question. So I try to show you some examples. I try to include as much as possible. For example, historic day, South Australia bans single-use plastics. This is a news. And this man is using autotune for the music industry to spread awareness about food waste. As you see, these are the most objective sides. So the first content or first category of the content type is the information theme. And the second one is instruction theme. For example, this user says that with a hot glue gun, you can replace the rope on cat stretching post. So rather than disposal of this product and buying the new product, the user is telling you how can you reuse it again, maybe replacing it, maybe fixing some part of it. This is the main idea of zero waste. And this illustrative post is about how to store food without plastic, because in the zero waste, people consumers are actively using about, not using the plastic-based products. And the third one, personal experience and team examples. And this is interesting to-do list approach for some users. It uses some binder clips for doing the activities. So instead of using additional peppers, instead of using new and new peppers, he or she, I'm not sure about the gender, but the user is using this type of activities. When she clips, the binder clip to this activity, it means that it is checked. So these are the theme of the personal experience. For example, this is the upcycle pasta jar and interesting usage again. And the last one is discussion with community. For example, in the social media, we talk about memes, we talk about some humor-related gags, etc. So there are lots of activity around this topic. Okay, these are the post-topic examples. So this is the first level of examination. But in the thematic analysis, we are relying on what is the underlying means, what is the underlying content, what is the underlying themes in the content categories. So I examined some of the posts. There are some overlapping, but in the end of the day, this report is generated. There are 13 different content categories, and these are the description. I try to include some example about it, but as you guess, zero waste cases is the most common pattern of the post. And there are some showcase of zero waste lifestyle and applications. And in the literature, I have witnessed that upcycling and recycling is different contexts. So I have witnessed some examples of them. There are different type of the do-it-yourself projects, some product instruction, and environmental awareness posts too. So let me show you some example about it. For example, zero waste cases. This user has witnessed a real life case of this water filter dispenser. It saves 600,000 bottles going into the landfill for each year. And the second one, this user used this case for the collecting or growing the her or his own mind team. And this is the upcycling rather than making a waste for these jeans, the old jeans. It is an upcycling application. It is using it again and again. So remember the main idea, maximizing the use of the products. So we are not sending our old jeans to trash, rather than we are using it as the new rug. And repurposing it, for example, this one is a paprika cap and it is using for other applications. And reusable items, as you see, milk cartons from the old, rather than exposing it to trash, they are using it again and again as the cup trays. And recycling again, it is an interesting application, because this man is collecting the throwaway and all the crayons that kids leave behind the tables. He collects them, melts them down, and creates new crayons. So it is a recycling, but it is included in the zero waste topic. And food waste, potato peel chips are included in here. Do it yourself. This man is using Amazon box for his own project, and my grow light, he says, in the next pictures he built a grow light for this old package. And of course, news sharing is the objective side of this channel. People are discussing about the different countries, different regulations, different legislation about the zero waste. For example, Australia, for example, Italy, and the other countries starting to regulate zero waste related regulations in their law environment. And product instruction, for example, if you are interested in the zero waste community, this type of bamboo toothbrush will be interested for you. So if we are talking about the marketing decision-making side.
Dear Professor, we have really limited time for next.
Okay, I finish right now. And environmental awareness and memes and humor are other categories. So let me conclude my study. Thematic analysis concludes 4 types and 13 content categories for this study. And specific categories can signal the next research topics for our studies. For example, zero waste cases, showcase of zero waste lifestyle applications, and upcycling, repurposing, and reusable items. And I have listed these 3 types of extensions for future research studies. I have finished now.
It was a very fast finish. Thank you.
In 30 seconds.
Thank you. I cannot have any question. I'm sorry. I must go with Abdurrahman Noor.
No problem.
And Abdurrahman,
yes, Professor.
He's just defense his thesis. He's my master's degree student, and he's just graduated. And now he will do the presentation to in our conference too. Thank you once more. They are Fatih Narbush and Abdurrahman. You can go on. You have 10 minutes.
Okay, Professor.
Okay, please focus on your findings part.
Okay, Professor. So
introduction and then results.
Okay, Professor. So my topic is related initial public offering in USA, how it affects the volatility of USA stock markets. So we will talk about these contexts, introduction literature. So we'll focus the literature and empirical finding. So in this research, we examine initial public offering effects on volatility in USA market. So the important question that comes to the those researchers and theoretical practical level is how IPO negatively affect or positively affect the previous stock market prices. So an IPO have adverse effect on its near substitute, which are those stock whose price movement are significantly connected with the return of IPO. So those researchers Brown and Lerner in 2009 investigated this topic while doing 22 developing nations. Also in 2018, Shito and his co-worker, they discovered large Chinese IPO have an adverse pricing impact on whole market rather than simply the previous researcher they do as a mere substitute. So to find out initial public offering will have a negative impact on this existing stock. First 5 days and first 10 days, we extended these periods. So also the previous researcher have focused on invert days, listing days, subscription days, and offering days. So the goal of this study is to determine if initial public offering have a negative effect on stock exchange market. So we use those model Arch, GACH, and eGACH model for the period of 1st January 2020 up to 3rd September 2022. So when it comes for literature review, as previous as told, Baron and Lerner in 2009 were the first who researched in this topic. So also there is an evidence in China who have seen a stock exchange market, Shanghai Stock Exchange market on November 5th, 2007. So the trading value of that day was 7,748, while go down up to 5,634. So it shows IPO when it comes to the market for the first day of the announcement, it really affects the stock market of the previous share prices. So also in 2006, Husu and his co-worker, they investigated this topic. Also, they were using stock prices, operating performance, and chance of the survival of the business. So also they revealed that IPO have an impact on the business that compete in the same sector. So when we talk about IPO announcement, we were talking about asset that comes to the market and how it affects the previous asset in the market. So there are 2 styles for those investors who are doing those investments. So portfolio rebalancing and also speculative. So portfolio rebalancing approach anticipates a decline in the market equilibrium. Just when the supply comes to the market, so the previous stock asset that already in the market will be changing. So will change for up to new IPO comes to the market. So prices that should be maintained for the long time if does not result in brief liquidity. So when it comes for speculative argument predicts a brief downward price, because when IPO comes to the market, some investors, they just sell a little bit of the previous stock they have, then they will sell the new IPO comes to the market. So also in 2021, AFG studied this topic. So they were studying the value of an industry effect of initial public offering in Turkey, the period 2010 up to 2018. Also, they found the same result. In 2020, Kupian, also in 2020 mean, also they found the same from the Finnish and Korean stock market. Also, they were studying how the same industry competitor, how it will affect IPO when it comes to the market. Also, they found the same result. So when it comes for data and methodology, as already told, we are using time series for the framework time frame January 1st, 2020 up to September 30, 2022. So we take IPO dates in New York Stock Exchange market as a dummy variable for first day, first 5 days, and first 10 days. Also, we are using the close price of S&P 500 indices for us using dependent variable. So also we are using the Arch and Gauge model. So when it comes for time series data, we have to make sure if there is seasonality. So after that, we have to make sure if there is a heterogeneity test. So all of that, or these things we have done. So when it comes for the empirical find, the correlation between IPO dates and S&P 500 closing price were investigated using generalized autoregressive conditional test Gauge model. So also we used the natural algorithm for already have S&P 500 closing price. We use it to convert accurate date. So in order to convert accurate date, we use it fast difference. The independence variable, we use a dummy variable for either 1 or 0 as a code. So the assumption of a constant error variance independence, those all tests we have done. When it comes for unit root tests, we use the BBADF and KBBS. Also natural algorithm, we have changed it into the fast difference. So as you see in the picture, it shows there is some volatility in the when we changed the natural algorithm into fast difference. So from 1st January 2020 up to 3rd September 2022 data, when you look the first quarter of 2020, you see there is a big high difference in the picture. So the volatility is high because we know when it in 2020 it started, there are some crises in the whole world for the COVID-19 outbreak. So in 2020, there has been a big drop, and that is the reason volatility has increased, consequently assuming that the variance constants over time may not be appropriate. So we may not incorporate all volatility. So we have to make sure. So as a result, for the first day, for IPO announcement comes to the market, the coefficient of dummy variable for the first day IPO is negative, meaning there is a decreased value. So when IPO comes to the market for the first day, that announcement, the market have already seen the previous stock market decrease it. So when we look at as statistical model is if it's significance or not, the model is showing 0.0002, which is good for our model. It's significant. So when we look if there is a negative information as using e-gauge model, we have seen 23% IPO when IPO announcement to the market come for that day, the previous stock asset or the previous stock prices have decreased 23% in the S&P 500 stock exchange market. So in the second 5 days, in the second model, the first 5 days of our IPO as a demi variable too, also the coefficient is significant. The coefficients is shows 0.9. So we show is the first 5 days of IPO in the market will negatively affect the other share outstanding in the exchange market. Of the IPO announcement to the market for the first week, during the first 5 days, when IPO comes to the market, it's already shows there is a negative effect on the stock prices of the previous outstanding exchange market. So when we look in the e-gauge model, also it shows the previous was 23%. So this one is 10%. Because mostly it relates when IPO comes to the market, there are some investors stylists. So maybe those speculators, they are the first week, they are just looking their opportunity for having a big benefit there. So maybe in the first 5 days or the 4th or the 3rd day, they will resell the just upcoming the coming IPO announcement. They will resell it. So that's why the effect dropped up to 10%. So when comes also our significance level is good, it's below 5%. So our dummy variable 3, we see the b value of dummy variable alongside the other variable is variance equation is below the 5%. So it's which means the null hypothesis is rejected. So when we look the coefficients, also it shows a big drop, 0.125. So due to the insignificance value. So when we look the dummy variable 3, when IPO comes to the market for the first 10 days, so statistically it's not significant because there are other major effects of the IPO market. So during just the 5 day, maybe 7 up to 8, maybe it will go the effect of IPO announcement to the market. But in 10 days, there is in our model, there is non-significance, but it also shows a negative impact. So which is less than 7%. So 7%, we can say when IPO comes to the market for the first 10 days, the effect of those IPO to the previous asset outstanding in the market, it will negatively impact for 7%. So in our conclusion, this analysis gives more detailed and accurate view of the IPO price influence when it comes for the stock exchange market for the USA or the existing shares listed or in S&P 500 index from the period for 1st January 2020 up to 30 September 2022. So the price reaction to an IPO is mostly connected to the actual trade IPO shares. So previous writers have shown the same result that an IPO negatively influence existing equities if either IPO or other assets, particularly its near substitutes. For those previous research, Brown and Lauren in 2009, as shown around the time of IPO issues. So the share price in the market has declined 23% for the first day when IPO comes to the market after the announcement of IPO. While we are using IPO dates in New York Stock Exchange market on the 5th day after the IPO announcement in the market, we get a decline 10% shares in the market. So in this study, it has some limited issues because we are just using New York Stock Exchange market. So there are other like NASDAQ, Dow Jones. Also, we are using S&P 500 Stock Exchange market. So for those limited abilities to assess all potential contributors to share price fluctuation, such as the impact of economic variable. So as we know in 2020, when a COVID-19 outbreak comes to the whole world, there are some effects like who affects the economy of that country or the whole of the world, like inflation, frequency, currency rates, interest rates on the share prices. Also, as we know, when when COVID-19 outbreak in 2020, some people didn't make a lot of spending. So they have make some saving, maybe some make investment for this period. Also, it makes some effect for the previous stock markets because some investors, they have a lot of money to invest those IPO markets. Also, it affects. So the study recommends additional research that includes all external rather than IPO, like inflation, interest rate, economic and political factors, and also internal factors. We were just extended for the period for first day, first 5 days, and 10 days. So for all doing like subscription date, frozen. Also, we know when it comes to for the first day or before the first day trading in the market, some IPOs were making frozen. So also when IPO comes to the market for the first week, some IPOs make some withdrawal. So all of these limitations, we recommend to make additional research. So that's my end of my topic. Thank you for listening, all of you. And I'm thankful for my unforgettable Professor Ayben. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. Thank you. And you won't forget this. You again told us that the share price declined, but it was related to volatility.
Thank you, Professor.
Forgot it. We have to talk with you later about the result part again before you give all your documents to our colleagues.
Okay, Professor.
And we try to help you on any part during your thesis. But we have to do this, and we do this for all of our students. But a few of them are really successful than the others, and you are one of them.
Thank
so
you.
I'm proud of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
I'm
Professor.
really proud of you. You're in the master's degree, and you studied a lot to understand. I supposed to understand GARCH models to use them. So I'm really proud of you. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that, Professor.
Okay. We have another next session. It had to start at 1 p.m. but we need a 5 minutes break. So we will after 5 minutes our next session will start. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.